Welcome to the Flora podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are going to talk about digital clutter and how it can be destroying your life. I'm going to share with you a story from one of my clients who just recently had a massive aha moment when it came to her digital clutter. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Flora, minimalist mentor and simplification coach. And for over 25 years, I've been helping women like you clear out the 9 types of clutter, keeping you from a life you are wildly obsessed with. The beautiful thing about removing this clutter is you can finally align into that version of yourself that is so deeply happy, so deeply fulfilled that you literally stop yourself and go, oh my God, why am I so happy? I cannot count how many clients have actually said that. Flora, I can't believe this is my life. So getting on to it, let's talk about digital clutter. Specifically, screen time. Now, some of you might be rolling your eyes, but others might be a little bit curious. I want you to look on your device. Now, for Apple, it's called screen time. When you open your device, unlock it, and you scroll all the way so you see the far left screen, you're going to see your screen time usage. Tap on that, and it shows you a month's worth of screen time. Add that up, and that is your total for the last month. Recently, my client and I were working together, and she shared with me her screen time usage. She said 6 to 8 hours a day. So I'm like, okay, so let's take the average. 7 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's 49 hours a week. I times that by 52. I believe that was 2548. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But I divided that by 24 hours, and it was 106 days, full 24-hour days of the last year that she has been on her devices. She said she's been doing this for 17 years. I did the math. 5.6 years. 5.6 years she has lost from being sucked into social media. 5.6 years. I asked her, how old are you? She said 41. I said, what if you woke up tomorrow and you realized you were 46 and a half years old? And you realized, oh my God, I just lost 5.5 years of my life. I said, that's exactly what it's like. I have a podcast previous to this. I'll actually post it in the comments or in the show notes where I talk about spending time versus investing time. And it's something that I learned from Neville Goddard, who is like the best of the best when it comes to spiritual teaching and teachings on how to have the life you truly want through manifestation, through visualization, and not even just that, but it's through embodying the energy of the life and the wish fulfilled. This was something from one of his books that talks about when we invest our time, we're investing in our future. We're investing in the present. We're investing in that life that we are wildly obsessed with. However, when we spend our time, we're squandering it. We're wasting it. It's like you are casting away the precious time that you have. Our life is made up of tiny moments, and those tiny moments are made up of what we give our attention to. In another podcast of mine, I talked about intention, and your intention in your day matters so much, but so many people don't go through their day with intention. And this is one of the things that she was sharing with me. She said, when I was diagnosed with anxiety 17 years ago, I numbed out with social media. It's through watching whatever type of show that she could to numb out and not deal with and find coping mechanisms and ways to reduce the anxiety, and also finding the root cause of the anxiety. And she's like, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, You could delete your apps. She shared with me that she felt addicted to her apps. And I said, okay, delete them. You don't have to delete your account, but just delete them off of your phone. And she's like, oh my God, the amount of anxiety and kind of freak out moments that I'm having right now tells me I have a problem. Now, you might not feel like you have a problem. You might just use your device, 2 hours a day. You might use it 5 hours a day. But what are you spending your time doing? My device I use for Voxer, which is the private coaching app that I use with my clients. I also use it for YouTube Shorts, TikTok. When I go into my phone and review my screen time, I subtract my working hours, my work time, such as Voxer and coaching and phone calls and things like that with my clients, and look at the actual time spent on each of those social platforms. Now, again, I work on TikTok. I work on YouTube. I take into account what's work, what's not work. And I'm very, very intentional with my social media usage during my workday. Give yourself permission today to look at your screen time usage. How many hours have you spent on your phone in social apps over the last month? Whether you're addicted to your social media or not is not the big point here. The big point here is to recognize and acknowledge how much time you actually spend on your phone, on your device, whether it's an iPad, your computer, your laptop. Look at the screen time usage. I don't know what it's called for Android. My boyfriend told me, and I cannot remember off the top of my head. I do apologize. Look at the screen time usage. Add it up for even the week and say, what could I have done instead of being on my phone? When I asked this to my client, when I said, you had 106 days this last year, what could you have done with, I believe it was 2,548 or 43 hours? What could you have done? Instead, she goes, oh my God, I could have decluttered my entire house. I could have learned a new language. I could have worked out and lost weight. I could have cooked home-cooked meals. And she goes, I'm so embarrassed and so pissed at myself and so frustrated. And she was just feeling all the feels. And these are really big emotions because you realize this is time you can't get back. Now, some of you might say, well, oh, come on, Flora. If you are intentional with your apps, you can get a lot of value and you can be investing your time. I know when I'm on a social app for pleasure, not for work, I go to the comedy ones. I like the funny, the skiing videos are some of my favorites, skiing and snowboarding. I don't ski or snowboard, but my kids, do all that stuff. And I love it. I think they're so funny. The cat videos, the dog videos. And I do think I watch things that make me laugh and laugh so hard that I'm crying. And usually I like a good solid 20 to 30 minutes of just those types of videos. And then when I start seeing other random stuff in my feed, I click out. I'm like, no, I'm good. Be intentional. So this isn't about not being on your phone at all, not being on your device at all, unless you feel like you do have a problem and you are addicted to it. Then I would recommend deleting the apps, finding a therapist that specializes in addiction and work through that issue. This is one of the reasons why we clear out these other types of clutter. I actually just had someone comment on one of my YouTube videos about, oh, come on, you're just filling their heads with all these made up types of clutter and you're just making it worse. And I'm like, but I've been working with people for 25 years and these are the key pieces of clutter that keep getting in the way of people's happiness. So it's not made up clutter, it's actual real clutter. If you've got mental clutter and you just keep going in these mental loops or have all these different types of thinking that are getting in the way from you being able to take that first step forward, yes, it is a type of clutter that needs to be addressed. Same with this digital clutter. When you have an idea or a goal or something that you want to accomplish for today, for this week, for this month, for this year, but you find yourself constantly getting sucked into your phone, into certain apps, delete the app so it's not even an option. Then what happens is all of a sudden you have more free time. You have more space. You have more availability. Now you can go do that thing that you wanted to do because that social app isn't cluttering up your day. So by curbing and addressing the digital clutter, you're clearing out a lot of daily clutter. And again, depending on how much you use your phone and in what manner will tell you or be the indicator of how much more time you're going to gain by curbing that digital clutter. And again, this is clearing up that daily clutter because all of a sudden, you're not spending 3 hours a day on social media. Now you're only spending 1 hour, and it's very intentional. And then so you're like, wow, I've got 2 extra hours. What do I want to do today? I don't know. What have I been wanting to do? What do I feel like I don't have enough time to do? Now I have the time to do it. I know on Apple, when you look at the weekly summary, it shows you the total per week, 30 hours or 50 hours or 10 hours. Or 70 hours. 70 hours, that's 10 hours a day, okay? Or 7 hours maybe, that's just an hour a day. You can also, underneath that, look at the apps and the total amount of time spent on each app, like TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all the things. So if you're like me and you work on your phone, you do the YouTube, the TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, you can take that into account and adjust the totals accordingly. When you do this, like I said, this is your assignment for the week. Y'all know I love homework. This is why we're here, right? Look at your totals. Make any adjustments you need to, and then ask yourself the total for the week or for the month. What could I have done in this 8 hours or this 20 hours or this 50 hours? My client, 49 hours a week. That is a full-time job. She has kids. She has a husband. She also has a part-time job. So that means everybody in her life was feeling the effects of her screen time usage. And this, my friends, is very, very common. How often do you find yourself sitting in your car whenever you get to wherever it is you're going to and you scroll? What would happen if you just didn't do that? What would happen if you intentionally went on your phone to look for something specific? So this week, look at your numbers. Look at your screen time. Make any adjustments you need to based on if you work on your phone. I know that when I drive anywhere in the city, I have my maps up. So I usually, take that time out because sometimes it takes an hour or more to get to wherever it is that I'm going. So I make those adjustments accordingly. Then I ask myself, what could I have done in the time that I spent on my phone? And that, my friends, is a huge eye-opener because you start to see how much time you actually are spending or wasting on social media. And this is a huge type of clutter that gets in the way of your ability to align into a life that you truly are wildly obsessed with, that supports you in every way possible. If you want to start to declutter the actual physical clutter from your life, but you're not quite sure where to start, and you want to get a jump start, this Saturday, we are having our bi-monthly virtual decluttering day. It's a 5-hour decluttering event. Well, you are going to actively be decluttering an area or space in your home. Click the link in the show notes. Join us. This is 5 full hours with me and anybody else who signs up and join. Click the link, read more about it. If you have any questions about this event, email me, flora@florasage.com. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have about this fabulous 5-hour decluttering virtual event. I love you. I hope this serves you today, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. All links mentioned are in today's show notes.